You're watching 5 Star Live, presented by Waffle House, East Tennessee's #1 post-game high school football show. Live on location from the biggest game of the week. Live interviews from the winning coaches and players, along with highlights from other games around East Tennessee. Your hosts, Jesse Smithy and Kevin Smith, with decades of experience covering and coaching high school sports, along with the 5 Star Preps team, will update you on games as they become final and will break down region outlooks and what's to come for your favorite football teams and top players. Now, get ready for the most comprehensive high school football coverage in Tennessee on 5 Star Live.
You guys got me? All right, there we go. We'll rewind it back. I'm Jesse Smith, the host of 5 Star Live, presented by Waffle House. Be joined by my co-host Kevin Smith just shortly. We're going to be talking to the West Rebels tonight. They pull out a victory 41-38 on the road at Farragut in one of the wildest back and forth affairs that you'll see. We'll have highlights of this game. We'll roll throughout the night. We'll have Kevin back up on the set to break down the X's and O's of it all. But 988 total yards of offense between these two teams. Defensive coordinators probably pulling their hair out tonight, but from a standpoint of fans and media and everybody watching, it was an unbelievable game. I am joined on the set tonight by Braden Latham, a junior running back at West High School. Braden, I'm sorry I hadn't had time to tally up all your stats, but I know you, Trayvon Barfield, your brother Caden Latham, all had a big night tonight. Just tell us what it was like to be in a game like this where you have the lead, they have the lead, and it's back and forth all the way to the end.
It really didn't feel really good, but it was great to be on the field with my brother and Trayvon. It was amazing to see my brother go off.
You had, I know, a few touchdown runs, and how much did your experience a year ago where you're sharing carries with Mattress and with Barfield, how much did that time on the field help you get more comfortable this year where you're more in the spotlight now?
That experience helped a lot, actually. Like, I'm really not nervous at all. Like, I see holes and I hit them. But thanks to the OL, amazing. But yeah, it really did help a lot last year.
You guys won in week 1, 24-2 over Bearden. They always say, the coaches always say, we're going to see a big jump in improvement from week 1 to week 2. What do you feel like you guys did better tonight?
I feel like our offensive line definitely stepped up against that DL. Farragut has a really good defensive line. Our quarterback, Carson Jesse, was dropping dimes. It was just amazing all night. And our wide receiver were making some amazing catches. In
terms of yourself and how good you're doing so far this year, and we're seeing some of the highlights here, what did you feel like coming into this game you wanted to establish, just individually?
That I can run that football. I'm going to definitely take that rock, hit those, and make plays.
When we're watching Carson Jesse scramble here early in the game, big play down the field to, I believe, your brother, Caden Latham, just what have you seen out of him in terms of him being a first-year starter and starting to get more confident?
I see a big role. He's amazing. Like, growing up with him, it's nice to see him. Gosh.
So y'all played together for a while then?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Since birth.
This West team, and obviously the way last year went, I know y'all probably took that as motivation into the off season, and just wondering where you guys were mentally coming in this year, trying to correct what happened last year.
We were definitely taking it game by game, really, not too worried about last year, week by week actually.
So I don't know. Take me through here with this run game. I think this is yourself there getting in it, where you're trying to reach out there. That probably makes the coaches nervous a little bit.
Barely. I was trying to reach for that touchdown right there, but I knew I was by that sideline, so I really wasn't too really about fumbling that ball.
Double move here to Caden, and he gets on there. Just for you being a twin brother of him, I mean, how special is that to see him get in the box score tonight?
Special. It makes me so excited to see him step up and make plays for his team, so we can both be contributors.
When you're in a game like this, what were the coaches' messages to you guys at halftime? Was it keep doing what you're doing, or were there certain adjustments you guys had to make offensively?
We definitely had to make some adjustments offensively. We started passing the ball way more, and running that rock.
We saw John Carlovato transferred from Bearden. He's playing a lot of linebacker, but of course he played quarterback a year ago for Bearden. He comes in some short yardage situation. That's a nice little change up for you guys.
Yes, sir, it really is.
What's he kind of brought to the offense that you've seen so far?
We have a scrambling QB, and he's like really big. Like John's like really big, and he can run that rock.
Tell me about these last few plays here where y'all are seemingly taking control of the game. And could you feel that? Do you feel that momentum swing in y'all's favor?
Yes, sir. I really do feel that momentum swing in our favor. We have to trust our defense, do what they do always, and it's amazing. Big
pass interference call there goes West way, and then you guys are able to push it down into the 5 and then cap it off here. John Carlovato comes back out as quarterback. Hands off, y'all are able to sneak it in there and go up. Farragut drives down there late. Seemingly they go for it on 4th and 4. You're over there watching. Are you nervous? How's that going for you?
I'm really not too nervous. I love our defense. Like I trust those 11 people on the field, and they can do their job.
As I mentioned, 988 total yards of offense combined between the two teams. I know Trace Corum, who just had that long touchdown catch for Farragut, got him back in it, but Trayvon was a guy that we were really excited about a year ago. He has so much speed, so much power, and I know he fought cramps. Y'all fought cramps all night, and for him to come back on and get that touchdown, that was huge, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. It was amazing. I was actually cramping on that play right
there. All right, and then Farragut, again, kind of gets back down to inside the West 30. It's 4th down and 4, I believe. They have one of the better kickers. They elect not to go for it here on 4th down, and they throw it out over to the sideline incomplete. I'm thinking game is over at that point.
Yes,
they still had 3 timeouts to go. They get the ball back with about 30 seconds left. They complete a pass down to, I think, their 35-yard line, 51-yard field goal coming up. It wasn't close. Were you just exhausted at this point, or elated, relieved?
I was relieved, and I was gonna give my all on that last play to make sure that field goal was not going in.
Yeah. Well, that's Braden Latham. Braden, congratulations on the win tonight, 41-38 over Farragut. And again, we'll have some more breakdown of the game here in just a moment. He's got his 5-star preps hat on. That means he was our player of the game. But just an unbelievable effort out of Braden, and we'll have coverage that tonight on 5starpreps.com. So you'll want to check all that out, stories, videos, all that. Braden, I'm going to shake your hands. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good to meet you finally. You're going to pass the mic over to head coach Lamar Brown. Lamar, congratulations.
Woo, that was a long one.
Okay, you got your hat on too. I appreciate you and Braden coming on the show and dropping your West hat over there and rocking some 5 SP gear.
Well, I appreciate you being here and everything you do for high school athletics in Tennessee.
Well,
Jesse. It's unbelievable.
It's fun to us, and we appreciate you guys hanging out late tonight here on 5 Star Live, presented by Waffle House. From a head coaching perspective, what do games like this do to you mentally?
It probably aged me about 10 years. It was so back and forth, and I felt like, we scored with 40 seconds to go in the second quarter, and I think it was 24-14.
Yeah, something like that. I think y'all had a double-digit lead.
Yeah, and then, 10 seconds later, they throw a touchdown pass, and we come out at halftime and fumble the first play, and heck, they're ahead. About a minute gone off the clock, and they're ahead. And then from there, it was just back and forth. We had kids that was exhausted. We had a makeshift offensive line going into the game. God, I'm proud of those guys. God, they fought hard, and we were playing people everywhere. John Stokes played a slot receiver he'd never played before tonight.
Is that number 42?
No.
Who's 42? He's a giant out there.
Oh, RJ.
Yeah.
RJ's an unbelievable tight end, big target down the field, has some huge catches for us tonight.
Yeah.
And, I thought Carson Jesse played really good. I may be wrong, but I think he threw 2 incompletions, and they was both drops. He was really sharp. Our offensive line gave great protection, and I was proud of those guys. Defensively, we could not get off the field on 3rd down. It killed us.
For Carson Jesse, again, a first-year starter, to win a game like this, I mean, that's got to be a feather in his cap that he can look back on somewhere down the line this season and say, I know we've been in games like this before. We can pull it out. I've made the plays to do it.
Well, there's probably not many people in this town, if you'd have told them Farragut was going to score 38 points, that would have predicted us to win. But, I was proud of our kids. Carson, our leader on our offense, and, Caden Latham stepping in for Shannon had a huge night with big plays for us. It seemed like every drive. And the way he stepped in, he played corner every dang snap and played wide out.
with Shannon Blair, number 3 in our rankings of our player rankings in the class of 2022, committed to Michigan State. With him tearing his ACL, just how much of a blow was that for your guys' just mentality this week?
Well, it was hard on me. I know I just finished offensive meeting on Monday, and I got a text from Shannon saying he had tore his ACL, and I immediately went outside and called him. He was still in the doctor's office, and it was a very emotional phone call. He was upset. I was upset. And I was upset for him. He's got a lot riding on this recovery. We're going to be fine as a football team. But Shannon's one of our leaders. He's such a great kid. Our kids love him. Our kids took it pretty hard. They're playing a lot for Shannon right now. And, he's been with us every day since. And, he finds out he tore his ACL, and 30 minutes after he leaves the doctor's office, he's at a freshman JV game cheering those guys on. And that's just the type of kid he is. I
mean, football could actually be an outlet for him to help him not heal physically, but mentally and emotionally to handle this. Yeah,
a lot of kids, when they face something like that, they tend to drift away and get depressed. But I knew Shannon was going to be fine when I turned around at the freshman game, and there he was giving me a hug.
Well, even tonight I watched him a little bit, and it seemed like early on he was just kind of apart from everybody, but right there at the end of the game, he's out there on his crutch. He's cheering his guys on and encouraging them, and that's got to be amazing to see.
Yeah, I didn't get to talk to Shannon yet, but I'm sure, standing on the sideline is hard on him, and it probably hit a little bit closer to home tonight at the first game, and he's not out there playing. But Shannon's a leader for us. He's going to help lead this football team, and we're going to love on him and help lead him through his recovery.
It's going to be a learning curve, I'm sure, for some of the guys that are taking his place. Farragut seemed to take advantage at times in the secondary, really hit on a lot of slants tonight. I mean, had he been out there, do you think those might have been limited somewhat?
I don't know. Farragut had a great game plan coming into it. They had great protection, and that's what killed us. We couldn't get any pressure, and he stood back there all day long. And if you can't get pressure and let Moore stand back there for 6 seconds, he's going to pick you apart.
Yeah. Lamar, I know your team's probably waiting on you to shake your hand. Congratulations again on the win, and hope good fortune for you guys going forward into week 3.
Thank you for everything you do.
All right, absolutely. That's Lamar Brown, head football coach at West High School. Certainly appreciate him. Braden Lathan from sticking around on the show tonight, 5 Star Live, presented by Waffle House. Before we get to our first break, it's trivia question time, presented by Healthy James. Our trivia question tonight, we are at Farragut High School. They are celebrating their anniversary for winning a state championship, a Class 5A state championship. Your trivia question tonight, what year was it when Farragut won their state championship? Hit us up on social media, hashtag it 5 Star Live. If we pick you, you're the first one in. You're going to win a prize pack from Healthy James. Again, what year did Farragut High School win their state football championship? Hashtag 5 Star Live. We'll pick a winner later in the show. All right, we're going to catch our first one.
Coker Rental Company is your hometown go-to spot to rent equipment and tools. We offer fast delivery on late model, low hour, boom lifts, excavators, tracked skid steers, scissor lifts, and more. Coker Rental Company prides itself on great customer service and providing the best equipment and tools at a reasonable rate. Give us a call today at 865-457-1478 and let us be your go-to rental company for your next project.
Tapered Men's Grooming Studio is Knoxville's premier barbershop. Conveniently located in the center of K-Town, Tapered will have you feeling and looking your best. We offer walk-in appointments, and we specialize in haircuts for both young and old. Our master barbers will give you the best haircut you can find in a style that is unique to you. Come and see us today or check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Coker Rental Company is your hometown go-to spot to rent equipment and tools. We offer fast delivery on late model, low hour, boom lifts, excavators, tracked skid steers, scissor lifts, and more. Coker Rental Company prides itself on great customer service and providing the best equipment and tools at a reasonable rate. Give us a call today at 865-457-1478. Go-to rental company for your next project.
Welcome back to 5 Star Live, presented by Waffle House. As promised, Kevin Smith up on the set. Kevin, welcome in.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Good to be here.
Yeah, this was your first time at Farragut.
It was. I was actually shocked when I got here. I didn't realize I had never been here before. Great place to catch a game. Really impressed with the student section here at Farragut. A big crowd for them. They were loud and noisy the entire time. Good home field advantage for Farragut.
Should have done this in week one. I need to reintroduce you to everybody. Kevin Smith won a state championship in 2008 as defensive coordinator at Catholic. Then where did you go from there? You went over to the Mid-State?
I went to Georgia, then back to Mid-State, CPA Innsworth, ended up at Lipscomb Academy with Coach Dilfer in his first season, and back to Knoxville. So we're excited to be back in town with the family. Definitely
blessed to have him. His X's and O's knowledge. He talks about stuff on the sideline during the game that I can't comprehend, so I just nod and appreciate learning from him. So we're going to talk about this game. Let's go ahead, guys, if we can start rolling the Farragut West package. West wins tonight 41-38, and Kevin, it was exhausting. It was exasperating. It was back and forth. Farragut gets going early. They get a field goal to kind of take a 3-0 lead, but it's not small ball from there. It's big play central.
No, if you're an offensive coordinator, you're really happy tonight. And offensive playmakers made a lot of big plays. We saw a lot of splash plays. You hear college coaches talking about that a lot, 20-plus yard plays. We saw a combined 11 or 12 of those plays by both teams. So big plays all around tonight. I thought West had a couple of moments in this game, Jesse, to take over the ball game and did not take advantage of those opportunities. And I thought there was some turnover on downs for Farragut where I was really wondering if, they have one of the best kickers around here in Knoxville, not using him to their advantage. But, hey, all around, You saw a lot of kids cramping tonight. These kids gave it everything they had. It was a 41-38 win for West, and it was a really fun game to watch. If you're a defensive coordinator, though, you're having nightmares.
Yeah, and you were chattering over there throughout the game because I know it was hard for you to watch. But these were two programs in Week 1 that really struggled to manufacture points. West in Week 1 against Bearden. West, I guess their hallmark is their run game, and they couldn't even get their two guys going against Bearden. Farragut only scored 7 points on the road against Beach. So for these two teams to combine for, 79 points, almost 1,000 yards of combined offense, I didn't see it coming.
I didn't see it coming either, but I'll tell you what, Carson Jesse, the quarterback for West, did a really good job of, not only finding open receivers, but, man, he did a really good job of putting it in the right spot. Man, he was hitting the deep ball tonight for him was money. He was spot on. He was calm and collective. And then, man, it was the Latham show, the twins for West at receiver and at running back. These guys were electric tonight, doing a great job, and they both had speed to kill, and it was really hard for Farragut to catch up with them.
And when those two guys were cramping, they brought in John Carlovato, inside goal line situation. Again, a quarterback that played at Bearden a year ago. He transferred in the offseason. I know he probably had a competition for quarterback reps, but they moved him to linebacker. He looks really good at times at linebacker, but when they need to switch things up inside the 10, they can bring him in and he can do some damage.
I mean, he's like a Tim Tebow in a situation where they can run whatever they want out of the package. And as a defensive coordinator, that's a nightmare because you don't have an extra tackler there. It's 11 on 11, and he did a great job of finding first downs all night or getting into the end zone.
West got some big breaks. Barfield fumbled. He's able to get it back. Next play, they do double move again to Caden Latham. Pass interference penalty, gets them that touchdown. Again, it looks like they got the game wrapped up, but not so much.
Yeah, Dawson Moore, quarterback from Farragut, really fun to watch as well. You got to get out and see him and his receiver there, Trace Corum. Trace Corum had a big night tonight. He had a 73-yard touchdown reception, an 80-yard touchdown reception right before the half, which we thought West was about to take over the game. They've got a special connection there, and if they can continue that throughout the year, Farragut's going to be dangerous offensively.
Yeah, I mean, West was up 21-10 right there before the half. I turned my video recorder off, which is probably the cardinal sin of covering a game, because there's just 30 seconds left. You think Farragut's probably going to play safe, not really push the envelope so much, but then they throw deep 21-17, and that allowed them to stay in it and push West for 4 quarters.
Well, and that's what we were talking about. West had multiple opportunities to take this game over and put it out of reach. 21-10 with about 40 seconds left in the half. They get the ball first, Jesse. And not only did they get the ball first, and you think they could really push it away until Farragut hits the 80-yard bomb, they fumble on the very first play coming out of the second half, or coming out in the second half.
Right.
And Farragut goes right in 3 plays later and scores. So it wasn't for West. And in a game like this, when you don't play well defensively, you find your backs again in Barfield and Latham, and you found another receiver now to help Carson Jesse. To have a game in a situation where you should have taken over, you should have extended the lead. It shouldn't have been this close, and having an opportunity for Farragut to win on a field goal. It's a playoff type atmosphere tonight, and an atmosphere or a game that they can learn so much from to push them forward towards the playoffs and through the rest of this year. Let's
talk coaching strategy, and I'm not trying to I know you don't want to burn any bridges in the coaching fraternity, so I understand that, but late in the game, Farragut's down 3. They're inside West territory. It's 41-38. They have one of the better kicking units around. They opt to go for it on 4th and 4. They kind of throw over towards the sideline, whereas all night they've had success over the middle with the slant. That pass falls incomplete. They had 3 timeouts at the time. West takes over with, roughly 44 seconds left, and Farragut does get a chance to get the ball back, but in that moment, I know you didn't like the call.
Yeah, we're obviously not at practice, and we don't know how well the kicker was kicking, at practice, but he has a very strong leg. Kicked in the end zone every time tonight. I'll say I was a little shocked on the 4th and 4 that they went for it, and not giving him an opportunity on the plus 27-yard line, because once they got the ball back, in theory, they had to kick it from even further away. I think it was the plus 34-yard line. So you had an opportunity there to tie the football game. On 4th and 4, also, I didn't understand. The offensive coordinator and staff did a phenomenal job tonight of getting 3-by-1.
Explain what that means for
So they were getting 3 receivers to the field. So if you're looking at the field where the most grass is, and then on the boundary side, closest to the sideline, they had 1 receiver, and they were hitting slants all night or out routes all night on West. West still hasn't stopped it, and I'm just shocked that they did not go back to that. They did a kind of semi-rollout on 4th and 4, and Dawson just overthrew it. He lost control of the football. And in a hot, humid night like tonight, you're sweating, that ball's a little slick. That was a tough throw for him to make on the run.
Still, Farragut did a good job making stops, keeping them inbound, using their timeout. They get the ball back with about 29 seconds to go. Nice completion over the middle. They get into field goal range, 35 at the 35. It's a 51-yard attempt. The kick wasn't close. We've run the clip a couple times tonight, but just an unbelievable football game from both teams. Farragut's just got an absolute murderer's row of a schedule. It only gets more difficult from them, or for them from here. They lost at Beach last week in the Mid-State 20-7. They lose tonight 41-38. These aren't region games per se, but they need to find a way to get a big win to get some confidence going.
Yeah, and I think tonight, if as a coaching staff, you're excited that the offense got going because you do have some pieces. They got a young sophomore receiver, Landis Develia, that and I probably misspelled his last name or mispronounced his last name, but had a big-time touchdown reception tonight as a sophomore. We saw what Corum can do at the wide receiver position. We know what Dawson can do. He's a tough kid. Did a good job in the quarterback run game as well as throwing the football. They've got 2 or 3 backs that they can hand the football off to and have confidence in and catching the football as well out of the backfield. But they've got to clean up defense. I mean, they did not stop West on 5 possessions, or on 4 out of 5 possessions. The last one they got was when West was just trying to run out the clock. They've got to clean that up so that they can keep themselves in ball games and then take over in the fourth quarter.
Again, we want to send our best wishes to Shannon Blair, a senior. I remember at Catholic High School, Zach Van, one of their running backs, tore his ACL, I think in a jamboree his junior year, fights all the way back with a first or second game, I think the first game of his senior year, tears his ACL. I remember Kate McMahon, the star basketball player, Heritage High School, Lady Volstein, beloved in Blount County. A lot of hopes rested with her, tearing her ACL, missing her senior year, and then the injuries continued in college. So our thoughts and prayers, best wishes go out to Shannon Blair, senior standout at West High School, tore his ACL last week against Bearden, and no West to try to find an answer for him. You're never going to replace a guy like that, but you can kind of put a Band-Aid on in some spots.
Yeah, and I thought West had some guys really step up offensively tonight. I think defensively, that's where they're going to have to get some guys to really to step up there in the secondary. But offensively, you saw one of the Latham twins. Man, he was awesome. He was phenomenal tonight. And, yeah, best wishes to him. I think the cool thing about it, though, is technology's better. Doctors have more. They understand more about the ACL. So, I mean, you're seeing guys really, really come back and sometimes stronger than before. So, quick recovery to him, and we look forward to seeing him play at the next level.
Last night, Thursday night, rivalry Thursday, Powell and Maryville. This game had been circled on the calendar throughout the offseason. A lot of hype generated on social media about this game, just all the Division I talent on both sides of the field, and it was 52-31 Maryville, and it was a pretty incredible night.
Yeah, I thought, man, Maryville shocked me a little bit in how physical they were up front on the offensive line. You know, we saw them a couple times last year. Those guys have grown up, and they basically did whatever they wanted to do offensively. They ran the football. They had a great job of many rollouts, hitting in the flats, backs out of the backfield, hitting the deep ball. I thought Carson Jones, again, was phenomenal. Furman commit. He was just heady. He's a big dude and hard to stop. And then this young man, Jordan Potts, you know, man, he reminds me a lot of Johnny Manziel.
Right.
And he's a nightmare to defend. And you can see, this first drive last night, 17 plays.
Yeah.
I actually thought this was one of the turning points of the game, Jesse. 17 plays, took almost the entire first quarter, and they only got 3 points due to penalties.
Right.
If you're Maryville, in today's offensive game, in today's football, holding somebody to a field goal or getting turnovers is a win. That was a huge win for Maryville right out of the gate, and I thought it took a little bit of sales out of Powell. Yeah,
and that long drive, though, I think it took 10 lead at one point, but that young man right there he's leveled up. He's gone. Last year, I liked him as a sophomore. He was a good change-up back with Parker McGill, but he's done something different. And it happens in high school. These guys mature. They get older. They grow. They get in the weight room. He's different this year.
Yeah, and listen, me personally, I love Parker McGill. And I think it was good for him to see his work ethic, how he handled his business, and getting some carries last year in a lot of games. And he was on fire last night. Could not be tackled, could not be stopped. There was a play there in the third quarter. I love what Maryville did. It was a 3rd and 7. Everybody in the stadium thought they were going to throw the football. They call timeout, come to the sideline, come back out in a big package, heavy package. Powell's not ready. Noah Vaughn off tackle for about 10, 12 yards. First down, very next play, 50 yards to the house.
And there's Noah Vaughn right there. Number 2 ended up with 205 yards, 4 touchdowns, I believe, on 19 carries. Of all the people that we talked about, or anybody talked about in this game, Walter Nolan, Aiden Green, Darius Redmond, Jordan Potts, you can go with DJ Burks, you go with Markel Fortenberry, number 19 there, you can go Carson Jones. Out of all the college football prospects, it was Noah Vaughn who stole the show.
That's right, and he stole the show. Man, he was catching the ball in the backfield, running it off tackle, for 5-yard gains, taking some lumps in the backfield. I mean, Walter Nolan did make some plays back in the backfield for tackles for a loss, but, man, he just kept hanging in there, and then they could not tackle him in the second half. He was bouncing off people left and right. It was really fun to watch.
Your thoughts on Walter Nolan? He's kind of a lightning rod player in this area. Vol fans love him. They want him to come to Tennessee. The people who are playing against Walter Nolan have they've voiced their opinion of Walter Nolan on social media, but there were times last night where nobody could stop this young man.
Yeah, I think, for one, he's got to get in shape, and they were talking about it a little bit last night, not knowing where he was going to play. We don't know, what kind of weight training he may have had available to him, but you can see the flashes of what everybody's talking about, and you saw it on 2 of those plays there where he's just busting through the line. Nobody can block him. There are times where he takes plays off, and I think those are times where, as a former coach and defense coordinator, I always ask my guys, tap out. Like, I want you to come out, take a breather. If I take you out, you may not come back in. But if you tell me you need a quick break, play as hard as you can, I'd like to see more of that from him. Tap out, give yourself a few plays off, and come back in and play as hard as you can.
Is that just being a 5-star? Like, I feel like I could go across the country to watch any 5-star and see them taking plays off. They care about the postseason. Them going all out in the regular season, they're more likely to get hurt doing that. And so I don't know. I don't know if that's just 5-star player mentality. I know Walter Nolan, again, transferred in late. Again, we don't know what he done to condition himself. But as you mentioned, there are times and there are flashes where nobody can stop that young man. And come late in the season, whether Powell's trying to get a number 1 seed, whether they're trying to win in the first or second round, I think that's when we see the best of Walter Nolan.
Well, and he'll be in shape. I don't think it's a 5-star mentality, actually, Jesse. I really think just getting in football shape, getting back out there on the field. He played a lot of snaps last night. And listen, I don't care what anybody says. It's one thing to be 185 pounds. It's another thing to be 300 pounds. And it's 95 degrees outside. It's hard to move your body, and you get tired a little bit quicker. So I'm gonna give him some leeway there. All I would tell if I was his coach is tell me when you need a break. Let's get you out, and I'll get you right back when you're ready. Hey, when you're ready, come tap me. Coach, I'm ready. Let's get that going so that we can see all the flashes and we don't take plays off.
Final thoughts. I think Maryville is a little bit better than I anticipated. We'll see them play Alcoa in 2 weeks. Powell, defensively last year, they were a mess at times. Right now, they're a mess again. I mean, they're giving up 50 points per game through 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, they got to get something right. And they've got some. I mean, we've talked about it. They've got pieces on the front line, especially when you have defensive line disruptors. They've got quite a few of them. That should really almost blow up offenses at time. They've got returning linebackers that need to step up, and then all these highly touted DB/receivers they have. We got to start seeing them tackle. We got to start seeing them come up and be physical, because right now you're being exposed. And I know you've played a tough schedule, but we got to see more out of you, and we want to see you take it to the next level, because you have the talent and you have a team that can win a state championship. And you got a quarterback that I saw last night running over guys, running around, throwing the football. I saw a competitor last night that I want to see play for the rest of the year throughout the entire playoffs. I'm ready to see that defense kind of take that next step. And Maryville, no question, better than we thought, and physical offensive line that I was not prepared to see last night.
Right. Our other game of the night, the Battle of Broadway. Fulton hosting Central tonight, and Fulton gets the win 31-17 over Central. Look, a year ago, 2 years ago, a win like this, unfathomable for Fulton. Struggling with injuries, not a lot of depth, not a lot of numbers, but they win tonight 31-14, scoring in every quarter. They got their quarterback going 152 yards through the air. Davion Chenault went for 101 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Marcellus Jackson at receiver. That's their big three. That's what we call them. Their big three. Their quarterback, receiver, running back. All those guys produced tonight. That is a quality win over Central.
Yeah, and
there's Marcellus Jackson, number 1.
This is a huge win. You know, we saw him last year, and we liked him. It was the depth and injuries, and the quarterback coming in right now is playing lights out for them. And we've talked about this, and it's the same thing with Powell. When you have an offensive and defensive line that is big